Before we get our bees, we want to make sure that we have all of our stuff ready. So the equipment that we need, our tools, our smoker. I am going to light this smoker so we have it in case we need it. Because the rule is, if you don't light the smoker, you'll need it. If you do light the smoker, you'll never use it. So I'm just using burlap in here. I just want to get a good flame on it. I like using burlap because it's quite smoky. It's going to smoke for a long time. I always like to get a good fire in here. Okay, so then I also have, I don't need an entrance reducer because I'm going to put it in this Hive IQ today. So it's got its own entrance reducer. If you're putting it in wood, you want to have your entrance reducer, your bottom board, one single deep box, and your lid, or your inner cover and your lid. Okay, so when we open this up, we are gonna have all the extras that we need inside. So this is an 8-9 frame box. The frame feeder, it's only gonna fit 7 more frames. Okay, so I have my frame feeder in there and I've got my extra frame. I'm gonna need 1 more frame to make 7. Lucky for me, I've got some kicking around. Okay, so because I have some drawn comb already, I am going to add the drawn comb. If you have, who here is going all brand new equipment? No drawn comb. Quite a few. So you would just go with 2 brand new frames in this case, or if you have a 10 frame with a frame feeder, you would add 2 more frames. Okay, so you want your box to be filled up minus 5 frame spots, and the 5 frame spots is going to be where you put your nuke. Okay, when you get your nuke, it will be like this. Okay, so these are the transport, sorry bees, these are the transport boxes that they come in. Okay, so this is called Pro Nuke. They are snap shut, but sometimes in the yard when we bring them back, you're gonna have some extra bees, some kind of rogue bees on the screens. Okay, so if you feel really uncomfortable with that, putting them in your car with some bees out on the screen or on the box somewhere, you maybe have 2, 3, 4. You can go to the dollar store and buy, it's like a mesh laundry bag, and you go and you put that whole nuke in the mesh laundry bag, and then put it in your car that way. Okay, generally those bees are going to stay on the nuke or go to your back window if they're in an enclosed car, but if you feel uncomfortable, it's better if you're driving to have them kind of in that, in that mesh. And or you could put them in the back of a truck. If you're picking up 1 or 2 in the back of a truck, I recommend you bring a ratchet strap. So they're not kind of sliding around in the back of your truck, okay? So you're just gonna kind of tighten them down. Okay, so you're gonna get them like this. When you transport them, you'll put them in your car this way, so front back. So when you're driving, stopping and going, they're not moving this way, right? So you're stopping and going like that, okay? When you get home, let's say you're driving for 1 hour and you pick up your bees at 8:30 p.m., they're not gonna love being transferred that night, okay? If it's dark, if it's getting dark, they're kind of a little bit about that. So what I usually do if I'm moving them later in the evening like that is I will bring my new comb. I'll put it right on the hive that it's going to be placed in, and then I'll pull this screen open and I'll let them fly the next morning. You can go even the next day after work in the afternoon once it's nice in the later morning, and you can transfer them then. And then you have lots of time, you're not rushed, you're not dealing with it getting dark and the bees kind of being like, you know what, you're shaking us around, you're transporting us, and now you're moving us. So If you're picking them up at 8 in the morning, you can bring them home and transfer them right away, okay? Most likely it's gonna be a nice day. It's gonna be sunny. But if not, you place them where they're going to go permanently. So if I place these over here and I open up the door and let them fly for one day and then move them over here, there's gonna be a little bit of confusion. Okay, so wherever they're going, place them there. All right, so we've got our hive tool, we've got our pollen patty, we've got a single brood box, our bottom board, and our top lid. If you have the wood hive, you also want your inner cover. When we open up our hive, we are gonna have enough extra frames to fill the box once we've added our 5 nuke frames, okay? So I'm gonna take one of these out and we will transfer this one over. Okay. All right. So we'll just give them a little bit of smoke. I usually leave these guys on the lid till at the end, so I'm just gonna set that down there. Okay. Some nukes will come with this pollen patty. We do put them in the nukes, but some bees will have eaten it and they'll just have this paper left. It kind of depends how much of the pollen they're eating. So I'm just gonna set this over on the lid. We put it on them when we inspect them just for extra pollen. Sometimes we won't if they have a really good pollen source. So you may or may not see it on there. I do like to put pollen on my nukes, give them a little bit easier start. So, especially, your nukes will not have these Apivar strips in it. We just haven't taken these out yet. Okay. All right. So, the first frame, we're seeing brood. All of this brown here is our capped brood, okay? So generally when we are hiving our nuke, we want to keep this brood, everything that's capped or uncapped brood. So if there's eggs and larvae, we want to keep it all together, okay? So I'm just going to give a quick look for the queen, because if I can show you guys the queen, we will. All right, and then this side they haven't moved onto yet. That's just empty. So we're going to take our first frame and put it against our first empty frame. Like that. If you have a frame feeder, you want it to be in one of the outside spots. Yeah, if you have a top feeder, you're just gonna fill the box with frames. Okay, so we are going to, these bees are super calm. So we have some capped brood on this one as well, both sides.
There's a mark. Is that the queen?
Oh, look at you!
Yeah, there's...
So that's a blue queen. This was a queen from last year. So this isn't a nuke we're selling. This is a nuke that we're keeping to repopulate. No, I'll keep coming around. So you can see her, she's marked.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Do you guys see?
Oh, there she is.
Yeah. Okay, so sometimes you're lucky enough, you'll see her. Did you guys see? Okay. And sometimes not. So we're gonna put that frame in. Next.
Will the queens in our nukes be marked?
We are marking a bunch of queens, so they come white is this year's color. You can bring $10 and have a marked queen, and that goes to whoever's spending hours marking queens. Yeah, so we do go through when we inspect nukes, and we will mark them.
Perfect.
Yeah, and so these nukes, when we pulled them, were a little bit light on bees. So we're gonna see a little bit of spottiness. So this isn't a nuke that we'd sell, and this is partially the reason is that we've got some chalk brood in there. chalk brood can come from increased stress. Okay, so we're not wanting to, that's a little white, like in here.
Yeah.
We're not wanting to see that in our nukes. Okay?
I see.
So chalk brood, like I said, is brought on by increased stress. Often transporting bees and splitting nukes can cause stress.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
But good honey flow is going to clear that up. Okay? Do you guys see that also? So that's just right in here. Okay. Okay, so this one we're going to move over. So you shouldn't be seeing stuff like that in your nukes. It's good to look at that brood, see what you got. Is it cap brood? Is there eggs? Is there larvae? I'm going to see if I can find some good larvae in here. So this is trickier to see, but right in here there's some eggs, just in these cells here. So when you are looking, you don't want to ever blow on your bees. They really, really hate that. If you want to look in underneath the cells, if you give them just a light little tap like that, they will move out of the way. Okay.
So those are larvae in there.
There's not a lot of larvae in this one. Here is some good larvae. So if you hold it up, you can see the white.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
Nice.
So right in
Oh yeah.
here. Okay. Do you see the little white larva in there?
Oh, where's that?
So come over like behind me here, Jay. And now do you see it?
Yeah, for sure.
So if we're having a hard time seeing something, do you want to see?
Yeah.
So come over beside me,
Okay.
over here. Yeah, so you want the sun in your back,
Yes. Yes.
okay? Because it's much easier right here.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to see these? It's much easier if the sun is coming from behind you to be able to see things like eggs and larvae. Okay, so if you're looking and you're like, I don't see anything. So if we're looking, Steve, like this way, and then we're looking this way.
Much better.
Yeah, so definitely it's good. Did everybody get to see that wanted to see? Okay, definitely it is good when you're inspecting and you're looking for eggs and you're looking for larvae that the sun is shining from behind us, because you're going to have a lot easier time finding those things. Okay. And so this one is just, oh, this is a good one. I kind of want some of those bees off of there. Okay, so in this one, you're going to see a lot of eggs and larvae in the middle. They're smaller than the white larvae that you were seeing. Do you see there? I got a bee up my pant leg. Doo-doo-doo, give it a shake. Okay, so if we have the sun at our back and we're adjusting, so anybody who wants to hold this frame, we can take a peek. And you're going to be looking in this area for eggs and young larvae. Do you want to take a peek?
Sure.
Okay, so when I grab the frames, I'll grab them like this out of the box, and then I flip it over and I'll look with the sun at my back. Okay? So like that. Yeah, and then you're going to look in this area here for the eggs and small larvae. Once we get our bees transferred, we're going to, I often like to do this before I move them because it's a little bit easier. I fill up the feeder and then it's all ready to go. We'll see how much I can manage without spilling. These little holes are tricky.
Is that
So this is a 1-to-1 sugar water. So if you have brand new equipment, it is a really good idea, even when we have resources out, it is a good idea to feed your bees because it's going to help them make, does somebody else want to grab that? Yeah. It is going to help them make wax faster. So the more resource they have, the faster they can build comb for you, okay? So then we are going to, do you want to grab the smoker there? Yeah, and we'll just give them a nice light smoke. So you don't want to go too hard on that. I'll just here. So always to get it smoking, I'll go away from the hive and then I give them just, so they don't like this really fast. They like a good light, and then we will put our pollen back on for them.
So you don't take the paper off?
No, I never take the paper off.
We always do that.
Oh, it's all sticky?
Yeah.
No, I just let them go. Okay. They'll pull the bottom paper. You'll see it like out the front.
Yeah.
And the top paper you'll see just left.
Oh, okay.
And then you pull that top paper off. Yeah. Did anybody else want to take a peek at this? Jay?
Yeah, sure. What's the yellow in there? Is that the pollen?
Oh, like up on that, yeah, that's pollen.
That's pollen.
Okay, so you can see that these bees have started covering that brood because it's important that that brood maintains temperature. Okay, so all the bees that were on that frame have come over to cover up that brood. Yeah, so, and if you don't see it, just adjust the frame, adjust the way you're standing a little bit, and you should be able to see it. So once we get that last frame in, we've got all these bees on our lid. I like to just knock those into the hive, like that. Okay. Because, thanks Carmen. So I'm gonna look, one side had nothing, which is this side. This side has eggs, so I want the egg side to go towards the rest of the brood, like this. Okay. We'll give them just a little bit more smoke to get them off that pollen patty. So you could see them fanning here. Like, see how they're sitting here fanning their wings? That's them trying to disperse the pheromone of the queen. They're like communicating. Is she still here? So you can see them fanning, fanning, fanning all up top here. Okay, so I want to get these bees off of this pollen patty because these Hive IQ lids are very tight. Okay, so we have our pollen patty in, we have our feed in, and then we are going to put our lid on, and we have our entrance reduced, so it's just one of the 3 openings. If you were using a wood hive, you would put your entrance reducer in until they grow a little bit. With my Hive IQs, I do like to strap down the lids. I just use like a ratchet and I strap the hive together, especially if you're out in the country and it's somewhere quite windy. It's not as much of a problem in the city. I am going to move this because this nuke came from right here. And it needs to go back right here because all of the foraging bees are oriented to that location. So if I leave it here, the bees will come out and fly, and then they'll end up in the nuke next to this, where this nuke was. So we're just going to put it back right beside, like where it originally came from, because we're not moving it out. So if you have wood equipment and you have 4 or 5 frames that are just brand new foundation, when you have those filled with wax, not the wax comb filled with things, but the comb built, you want to put a second box on. Okay? So bees don't love to have that a lot of extra space of a totally empty box up top with just brand new comb. So let them grow a little bit and then give them that space where they can grow into that. So about 75% is when you add the second box.
roughly how long will that take? Is it a week, 2 weeks, a month?
It really depends on your bees. Some bees will be faster, some bees will be slower. Resources play a big factor. If you're feeding them, they're gonna build wax faster. So if you're out there and you're making sure their feeder's full, they may build that wax. Like I've seen bees, a good strong colony, build a box of comb in a week. But these are nukes, right? So you're gonna, I would say probably about 2 weeks. But you're gonna wanna go back in there and you're gonna wanna check them after a week.
So if you're
Okay, top up your feeder.
If you're starting with frames that have built up on it, you can start with 2 boxes.
I would still start with 1 and let the queen lay into some more of those, more of those frames.
When do you stop feeding them?
If I had completely drawn equipment, like with all the comb already, I would probably only give them maybe 1 round of feed to kind of get settled in, and I wouldn't feed them anymore. If you have new equipment where you're wanting them to build wax, I'd feed them till they almost have built out all the frames. Okay, you're gonna see a lot of times those outside frames, the ones against the wall of the box, they don't like drawing comb on those. So you're gonna take those and you're gonna move them 1 in. Okay, so when that, like if we have 10 frames in a box, it'll be the 10th and the 1st frame. When you have the 9th and the 2nd frame with wax on it, you take those outside frames in 1 and encourage them to build those out.
And am I more or less right to say that the first super is for the bees for the winter, the second one is for you?
No, anything above the brood boxes. So if you have 2 brood boxes, deeps, your first honey super, anything above those 2 brood boxes are for you to take. Yeah, so you leave the 2 for them, anything in excess. I've never really had hives winter well leaving that medium honey super on them. I find it's just too much space. Yeah, so if you filled up 2 boxes for them for food stores for winter, that's more than enough. Yeah, so hopefully they'll make it up into those supers and make you some honey. But we always want to make sure that we're pulling off our feeders or having our feeders empty when we put our honey supers on. Because they're not going to just use the sugar syrup to build wax, they're going to store it in the cells. So when honey supers go on, you want empty feeders. Yeah, some of you laugh, but I've had this conversation a lot. Yeah, you're going to all do great. We're also here. You guys know where we're at. We're going to do some of these just like mini sessions also through the summer and into fall. So it gives you a little opportunity to come if there's things you just feel unsure about.